Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Make sure that you are ready for the summer. Get over to game7baseball.com, get your team registered, get into some tournaments. We're going to be out there having a lot of fun. Great stuff in the summertime, game7baseball.com. Today, special guest on the show. Our coaches' previews continue on the Prime Sports call-in link. We have Jerome Simpson, Boonville High School, the Boonville Pirates. Coach, thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you taking the time, reaching out to us. We are working very hard to, and especially in that center part of the state there, I mean, there is some really good baseball in Class 4 in the middle of that state.
We got some powerhouses, I mean, for Class 4. I mean, talk about Blair Oaks, always solid every year, coming off a state championship. Southern Boone's always great. You know, this is just two off the top of my head. You know, even outside of Class 4, we got some great opponents with Rockbridge and Hickman and, you know, Jeff City's down there. And we've just got some good baseball in the Midwest right there. Even Moberly, who made and Father Tolton, two teams that made good runs last year in the state playoffs. Like, Mid-Missouri baseball is pretty alive right now.
Yes, and we had a great conversation. We got to talk with Coach Boyer from Moberly. I think they're going to be a handful again this year.
Oh, Moberly's going to be real good. From what I understand, they only lost one senior. I think it was the Bruce kid. He was solid for him on the mound. He'll be a tough kid for them to replace. But besides that, they got everybody coming back, and they were tough last year, so they're going to be even more of a handful this year.
And not to mention, you guys got Fulton joining your conference here in like not this year, but the following year. And Fulton's another one of those teams, you know, a lot of people don't really know about, but their program pretty much year after year, they have a lot of success. Yeah,
Fulton actually, for the past 2 years, we haven't had on the schedule. And then, you know, with them joining, we were able to get them back into our schedule this coming year. And we always hear really good things coming out of Fulton. We do start young with our freshmen playing them on the C team level. And you see good talent at that level already from there. And, you know, I know from the talking around, their class is young too. I mean, they've got some sophomores and freshmen seeing varsity time. So I know they're developing a good program there, and they're going to be solid pretty much every year as well.
So, Coach, let us know, because I know we've been to Southern Boone down there, Blair Oaks, Ashland, Missouri, and all that area. Where is Boonville?
So we're about 25 miles west of 270. So if you're traveling towards Kansas City, honestly, you'll see 3 Boonville exits. We're the last one if you keep going west. And our high school sits right off the exit. Like, I mean, you can't miss it.
Very good. But you're on the west side of Columbia, correct?
Yes, we're on the west side.
Yeah. Do you have to do a lot of traveling to get to where you need to go to play ball?
I mean, I think our furthest trip this year will be Odessa, which is going to probably be about an hour, 40-minute drive on the bus. But besides that, I mean, I think most of our drives are within 30 to 45 minutes to an hour, so really not too much at all. I mean, you know, that mid-Missouri, Ashland, Jeff City, Wardsville, Blair Oaks, like, that's like an hour, 45 minutes, you know. It's not too bad for us to get on the bus and travel there.
Very good. Coach, you guys were 4-2 in conference, 14-10 overall. The history of your program, I thought, was kind of impressive. And, you know, I'm only going back and looking at what Misha has, and I'm sure there's more. But, you know, since 2008, you guys have had 2 third-place finishes, one in 08 and one in 18. You've got a second-place finish in 2016 and a fourth-place finish in 2013. The first 3 of those were Class 3, and That last one was Class 4. Or no, the last 3 were Class 4. The first one was Class 3 in 2008. You guys have 9 district titles since 2008. Is there a secret sauce out of Boonville that people need to know about?
No, man. I'm on my fourth year in the baseball program, coming in my second year as the head coach. And we start young, man. When we're out there practicing, we get done around 6 o'clock, and on the field right behind us, you can see the youth kids, and they're still going. And when we're done, I mean, that youth baseball goes for a long time here. I mean, it's a big shout out to our youth leagues and the coaches there who are developing kids young and getting them to fall in love with the game of baseball, and then them sticking with it coming into high school. Uh, Fred Smith was one of the early coaches who did a good job of getting those kids and those teams out onto the field and taking them to state for those final finishes, winning some district championships. Ted Edwards, who actually just got inducted to the Hall of Fame this year for our Coaches Association, he did a great job. One of my assistant coaches played for him when he was there. Tim did a great job. I think he's probably our most recent coach with the Final Four appearance or quarterfinal runs there. But it's just kind of been the name since I've been there. It's always been, we got a great baseball program, coach. We got a great, and I know that, and it's our expectations as a team. We're going to try to keep living up to that program standard.
So the culture was built long before you got there. How do you, as evidently a young coach, what are the things that you're doing to continue to hold to that culture that they've built within this program?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to just try to stay around the youth leagues to just keep them building and just get intermingling with those kids at a young age, to familiarize myself with them so they know who I am when they get to high school, and we can get them out still, and they know what the expectations are and everything. And the biggest thing, going into year 2 this year with these kids is just our mentality. Like we don't want to settle for a first round exit or a second place in a district championship. Like, we're building on the culture of we're one as a team. I know it's kind of cliche or whatever, but I'm a big believer in if you can rally as a group of 10 guys and the guys on the bench, and understand your roles and accept that. And I mean, you can take a team pretty far, a long way, and keep living up to these standards that has been in this program for years to go. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with us is just positivity. That's the biggest thing I think we're going to try to drive home this year, is staying positive even if it's not our day. We're going to try to learn something from that day if it's not our day. That way, when it happens, we can fix that again.
I love the fact, as you're talking about the young kids, the elementary school, the middle school, do you guys, I'm not quite sure exactly where. Do you have a lot of kids playing some like travel ball, or is it just mostly staying around in the same area there?
So we have some kids that do play travel ball. We have an organization that's the Central Missouri Prospects. They kind of pull from Boonville, Columbia, kind of a little further south in California, that area. But yeah, we got some kids that play there, and then we have a lot of our kids just play. Our younger kids will play the Babe Ruth baseball, and that's where they get all their time in, and that's where you see more of our kids building like these relationships early at a young age, because those are the same kids that they go to high school with, and it's not like where some of them now where they're going to play in all these different places. They don't play high school with them, so they got to build a different relationship on a field with somebody they're not used to being around on the field. So I think that's one thing that helps with us, is a lot of our kids are in our Babe Ruth program, and they all go to the same school at Boonville, so they're around each other. And when they get to high school, they know each other. Good relationships are already built, and it helps us succeed on the field.
There you go. I love that stuff. Talk to us, Coach, about your squad. Last year you did have, I think you guys were in the semifinals, right? In your District 7.
Yeah, semifinals.
Yeah, because that was a tough district, because I think Moberly came out of that district, correct?
Yeah, Moberly came out. They had a tough opponent to start out with Kirksville. And I mean, I'll be honest. We went in playing Macon, who was one of the lower seeds in the districts, and I think one thing that hurt us too. We had some rain, and we showed up to the field one day. We were pumped up, ready to go. Rain hit. We canceled again, and I think that was the second day in a row we had canceled. So we came back the third day, and I think we just came out flat, and it kind of showed. Um, and we ended up losing a 5-3 ball game, and I think we stranded 10 runners on base that day. So hits weren't just falling when we needed them to, which it stinks at the time. But I lost 3 seniors last year, so I have a majority of my lineup coming back, and a lot of the kids that were on the bench are coming back, and they know what it feels like. So I think that's going to be a big thing going into this year, knowing what it feels like and understanding, even though you're a higher seed in a district, it's a game of baseball. Anybody can win on any given day. It's one sport that I truly feel like it doesn't matter how you rank up against somebody else. Anything can happen in this sport, and you can drop a game any day of the week.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's something we're looking to build off of this year.
You've got you played 24 excuse me, 24 games last year. I'm sorry, coach, excuse me.
No, you're good. You're good.
You've got when you have a smaller program, how many kids do you normally have come out for baseball in the spring?
So
Total.
last year, I think our number was 33. This year, we're looking at anywhere from that same number to 35 is what we're looking at right now. I'm expecting the first day of practice. I think through our open gyms and some of that stuff, we were in our meetings, we're looking at about 32 right now. And I'm expecting a handful of kids to come in that maybe missed the meeting or whatever, but they're going to show up to that first day of practice.
Yeah.
So my guess is this year we're probably going to pull around 35 kids.
Do you see like were your kids in the weight room this winter getting stronger?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of we're a smaller school, so a lot of our kids are multi-sport athletes. Our football coach, Coach Huff, he does a great job in running our weight room program. He starts it in the summer, and it's not just open to football, and that's what I love. Sometimes you see other schools where the weight room may just be open for football, or you have to schedule a time for baseball to come in. No, Coach Huff, we works with all the coaches, and all of us coaches come in the summer, and we're all working together. And it doesn't matter whether you're playing football or not, we work together to get these kids in the weight room and get them bigger and stronger. One thing that helps too is, I mean, we got a advanced weightlifting, our advanced PE class, which is weightlifting. Coach Huff's in there with them. They lift 5 days or 4 days a week. One day is a yoga day. So they've been in the weight room and they're getting their stuff in, and that's the biggest thing I encourage my kids from freshman to senior is like, don't be going to that freshman PE where you play basketball and whatever. Like, get in the weight room where you're going to make yourself better.
There you go. I love that. Coach, talk to us. I always think, it starts on the mound. You got to have that guy, those guys that get outs. If you can't get outs, you don't get to hit, right?
Right.
Talk
So,
about talk about it a little bit. The one thing that I think with the smaller schools is always the issue is depth, right? So, how are you guys looking this coming year?
honestly, we're going to lose probably I would say, number 2 last year. It was Dakota Williams. He threw, I think, 7 games for us last year with a 5-2 record. Ended up beating Father Tolton at one point in the season for us. So we're going to lose him, which is a big arm to lose. However, we have a lot of sophomores and some juniors that have gotten bigger and stronger, and they're looking good through these off-season workouts that we've seen. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do. But I said our top dog's coming back, Evan Bishop. He kind of started becoming that number 1 type his sophomore year, and he's coming into his senior year this year. And last year he really built into that mentality of, I'm the ace of this team, and like when I'm on the mound, we're going to win any game, which I love the mentality he had with that. And our guys kind of knew it too, if that makes sense. They knew when he was on the mound that we're in any ball game we play. But Evan's great. I mean, he's going to be probably, I don't know, 87, 88. I think last year he finished with 58 strikeouts, an 8-1 record, and ended up with an ERA around like 1.12. Um, I think his one loss was to Southern Boone, which was in a 2-0 ball game.
Wow.
But as far as depth goes, I mean, the way our coaches are looking at it right now, Brody Porter is a junior who threw a lot for us last year as a sophomore. Braden Vertle fought a injury last year, um, and he didn't get to throw for us as much as we would like him to. But he's going to be coming back, and he's grew about 2 inches, and now he's about 6'3". So we're excited to see what he's got to offer. Um, Bodie White, he was a freshman for us last year, but saw probably 15 innings at the varsity level.
Oh, wow.
So we're excited to see him, what he can do with more experience. Um, and I got another senior, Kalen Vaca. He's going to come in kind of more off of JV role last year, and he's going to eat up some innings this year for us. I mean, we like you said, we played 24 games last year. We've bumped it up, and I think we're going to play 28 this year without districts. So he's going to throw a lot for us as well. I think the way it looks right now, we got 8 to 9 guys on any given day we can run out there on the mound and like our chances.
Very good. Coach, do you guys, it's tough sometimes, everybody, velocity is big right now. Where do you guys, sit with that? And what do you do you have any arms like that, or is it mostly just a collection of guys in the, low to mid 80s?
Bishop's our guy who's the heat flamethrower. This summer with his summer ball team, he actually was sitting 88 to 89, topped at 91. He broke his collarbone in football, and it was throwing collarbone, of course. But so I'm kind of just curious to see where he'll be after recovering from that. He's back on the basketball court, so that's good to see that he's out there and he's playing well basketball, playing, looks like pain-free, so that's really exciting to see. I got the Bennett Greenhagen. He'll be a senior for us. He saw some innings last year, not a lot. Bennett had some arm issues. Last year we were trying to fight through. We wanted to get him on the mound more, but kind of fought through some arm pain and stuff. But he's going to get on the mound, and Bennett's a kid that's about 86 to 88 when he's throwing. Is Bennett going to be on that day? Is kind of one thing we're going to look for this year out of him. And the Porter kid, he's mid 80s. He's 83 to 85. But the rest of my guys are all kids that we're going to play defense behind. They're going to fill the zone, and we're just going to have to play defense. And that's just kind of how we're going to have to play this season if one of them other guys are throwing.
So speaking of defense, that's the next thing. And do you guys do you have that catcher? I mean, it's one thing to, you got the pitching staff, you got the guys, these arms. It's not an easy thing sometimes to catch that 87 to 89 mile an hour fastball. Right. Who's the guy sitting behind the dish for you today, Coach?
Last year we had 2 kids. Actually, had a freshman come in, Evan Reeder, who did a great job as a freshman. He kind of battled the size thing, in my opinion, a little bit to start the year. Freshman compared to some of these other schools and kids. This year he's put on some weight, looks good. Arm looks better this year, and I'm excited to see what he can do. We also got a senior, Lance Haynes, who caught for us a little bit last year. He fought some hip injuries last year, so it was, we kind of split time with him, honestly, because, I didn't want to ruin any type of chance, Lance had of playing this year by just sending him out there every day with a hip injury. So we kind of split time between our 2 catchers last year. And this year they're both healthy. And, Lance is a kid that right now it looks like we can kind of put anywhere on the field. So, we're kind of debating on, who's going to look the best back there right now. And if we need to, we can move Lance into somewhere else if we need to. So at the end of the day, I've got 2 kids that I'm confident to put back there with whoever's throwing. Like, they can handle a pitching staff just fine. But the one thing I do with that is like to see both of those step up and become more of leader type kids this year, especially Lance becoming a senior this year.
So who up the middle there, short, second, center field? Who's the guys patrolling those areas for you, Coach?
So I've got the Greenhagen kid, Bennett. He's my shortstop. He's been my starting shortstop since he's been a freshman. He's played varsity baseball since he's been a freshman. Great kid, great athlete, strong arm can pick a ball or backhand a ball in the hole. Still got plenty of arm to get it there just on one step throw. Chase Chamberlain, as a freshman, played every game for us at second base. So we got him coming back. He looks really good. He grew again, probably another 2 to 3 inches. And then last year, the Williams kid was my center fielder, but we lost him, obviously. Right now, it looks like we're probably got either Braden Vertle or Bodie White going to be out there in center field for us.
Very good. Yeah, I actually had a chance, like I said, to see the Chase Chamberlain kid. He looks good. Solid athlete. Looks physical, like you said. Sometimes it's amazing, the jump from a freshman, can be, kind of eye-opening.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Chase as a freshman was kind of different. He came in and he had that experience and maturity about him right away that you don't see out of a lot of freshmen. And it gave us, as a coaching staff, a lot of confidence to run him out there every day at second base and knew that he could handle that position just fine. He's got great hands. Honestly, I think his whole life he's played short. So he kind of adapted into second base a little bit last year, but he felt right into it. He's, like you said, a phenomenal athlete. And, like you said, Chase grew another 2 inches probably, and he's put on some good weight too. Like, he's gotten a little beefed up a little bit, and so I'm really excited to see what he can do this year.
That always helps. Sometimes it's all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's you don't realize it. You see him, and then goes away. Summer comes back, and you're like, hey, wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's kind of the thing with some of our kids this year that I've seen that came in, like, took the weight room serious this summer. They put on weight and they've stayed with it. It's not like they just did it at first just because they've summer, that's what they do. They've stuck with it. They've bought in, and honestly, we look pretty good right now as a physicality standpoint as far as our team looks.
That makes a big difference. I know sometimes people don't think about it, but baseball, it's a very physical game. It is. And if you can kind of out physical some teams that that have talent, but you can just physically outdo them, that makes a huge impact.
Oh yeah, I think that's one thing where we were a little younger last year, where we were a little out physical in some games. But this year, like I said, I've got some guys coming back and they look good. They've done what they needed to do in the off season, and I'm excited to see what they can do for us.
Because it's true, as you said about Greenhagen, being able to make that throw across the diamond. Not every kid, has the physicality to be able to do that. And so you may not get an out going on the backside in the hole at second base or something of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Those things make a difference. You don't get the throw in from the outfield as strong as you want to. It gives an extra base. That's a run maybe potentially. And those are the small things that make a big difference in a game.
Yeah, absolutely. Arm strength can be the biggest factor. You can get to a ball in the hole, but if you can't get it there to get that out, well, now they start with a runner on base in that bottom of the seventh inning when you need to collect 3 outs to win the game. I love the weight room and the physicality too, but we're playing 28 games. I know a lot of these other teams, they play 30-something games. But the weight room helps with flexibility, injuries, and that stuff too. And that's what I'm excited that they bought into, is because of that. Is like, we're going to help us, I think, injury this year. We're not going to see as many injuries because we've done the right things this off season. So
28 games, that's a lot of games. You got that shows me you have a lot of confidence in your pitching staff, Coach.
Yeah, like I said, Bishop, I know he's going to be our strikeout guy. He's going to go out there and he's got good off speed, got good fastball. Porter, same way. I'm going to strike some guys out, but I'm very confident in the defense that we should be playing this season against some of these teams that we're going to play. And, these other guys, I'm very confident they're going to fill up the zone. And, I don't need a guy that's going to overpower somebody. I need a guy that's going to come in and make the pitch where we're going to get a ground ball and we can get it out.
Yeah.
I'm super confident in this team so far from what I've seen.
Offensively, Coach, do you have some depth? You got a young team. You got some of these guys. Experience at the varsity level makes a big difference. Who are the guys in the middle of your lineup there that you're looking to produce?
Yeah, so we actually lost our 3 leading hitters last year. So it's going to be tough to replace them guys. But Bennett Greenhagen, like I said, he's been in the lineup since he's a freshman. He's got that varsity experience. Really looking forward. Probably going to be to start the year in the three spot for us. Looks like our best hitter for me right now, and probably going to start there. The Brody Porter kid, like I mentioned, he's another one that's probably going to be in that 4-5 spot. He's put on weight. He's ready. He can put balls in some hitting the ball well in the cage with some more exit velo than what I've seen. And Lance Haynes, them kids have really put in the work to make themselves better. And like I said, that we've had a really good off season, and it's showing through their swings and stuff, and through what we have done so far. And I see those 3 guys like being the guys that we look to, and hopefully we're in the bottom of the 7th, and if we need a run, I have them guys coming up is what I'm looking forward to.
It's always good to have the depth to stretch your lineup. Are you scratching runs? Are you playing some small ball in the bottom part of your lineup there, Coach?
Yeah, so honestly, probably top and bottom. Chamberlain, we're looking at him at leading off this year. He hit 9th for us last year. And he's a type of kid that I'm looking forward to moving him into the 1. And he takes good ABs, and that's why I did like him in the 9 spot last year with a pretty solid lineup already last year. But I do like to move him up here in the 1 spot early in this season to see how he handles it. I think he can handle it just fine. He takes good ABs. He sees pitches. And our 2 spot this year we're kind of got a question mark right now. We're not sure who we want to put there, but we've been talking as a coaching staff. We almost are really talking about putting our best bunter in that 2 hole is just to if Chamberlain gets on, get him over there, and for Bennett or one of them other guys to drive him in. And it's going to be the same thing bottom of the order. Bishop, he'll probably be in around the 6, 7, 8 spot for us. He's got good pop in his bat too, but I mean, he can easily get a bunt down and move a runner if needed to. The biggest thing I think this year with this team is 1 through 9. I think we're gonna be scrapping some runs this year. Last year we had some guys. Dakota Troost was my leadoff, and I think he hit maybe 6 or 7 doubles. The Williams kid, he hit 3 or 4 home runs for us with 5 doubles. We don't have that long ball potential this year, so we're going to be a lot more base-to-base type of team, and bunting and that stuff is what's going to help us scrap runs in a game to score our runs.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? If you can put pressure on the defense, try and make them make plays, get the ball in play, right?
No, I agree, and we don't have the big bopper, to put the ball over the fence like we used to. But one thing I do like is we've got guys with speed. Some of our off-season training has been speed and agility training, and I think our guys look a lot faster than what they've used to. So I'm real excited to, see what we can do with them moving forward.
Very good. Very good. Coach, it's been fun. I've enjoyed this conversation, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. I love this part of it. It gives us an opportunity, to learn more about the team, especially as we're going into the season. We're going to have our Class 4 rankings coming out here real soon. I won't tell you where I have you just yet, Coach. You're going to have to watch.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. I'll be watching.
But I think you got, you didn't lose. The tough thing is the offensive side. I think that's the biggest, where you're at. But, these guys coming back, you got arms. If you got pitching, you got a chance, right?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. As a coaching staff, we're less than a week. We're 4 days away from, that first day. And the biggest thing we've been, texting back and forth about is like what we think and what are we looking. And we're all confident in that pitching staff this year. Yeah. I mean, I've got 8 to 10 guys that I'm confident I can throw out there right now. And I've got somebody to replace that spot defensively to play still good defense and, and keep us in ball games, man. That's the biggest thing that I'm really excited about is I can bring anybody in the bullpen to come into a game, and I know they're going to keep us in that ball game.
There you go. Well, as I was looking at your schedule earlier, you ain't running away from anybody either, so good luck with that.
No, yeah, man. It's one of the things we looked at with my AD, man. We had a couple teams last year. We had those 10-0 games or whatever, and if we didn't have to play them, I didn't want to play them. I think that's one thing where we kind of got into postseason play, and towards the end of our schedule, it got a little weaker, and we didn't see that good arm, and I think it kind of hurt us. So I was like, I want to make sure that we're seeing some competitive arms all year, so we know what it looks like when we get into districts.
Smart stuff. Folks, this is head coach Jerome Simpson from Boonville High School. Coach, it was a pleasure. Appreciate it very much.
Oh, thank you guys. Anytime.
Folks, if you like what we're doing, please take a moment. If you like the show, please hit the like button. That helps our algorithm too. We love all the support we can get. Hit the subscribe if you want to subscribe. Hit the dinger next to it. It's not a home run, but it sure is a notification for upcoming episodes just like this. So we do appreciate that very much. And everybody, have a great day in the Lord, as always. And all you pitchers, throw strikes. Hitters, Coach, give the hitters some advice.
Hunt that first pitch, man.
There you go. I love it. That's good advice right there, folks. We'll see y'all next time.
Hey, hey, hey.